There is one section, especially on multi-piece rods, that deserves special attention. It is the upper ferrule connection. When you look closely, you can see that the top section, the tip part that fits onto the next piece, has a much larger diameter than the following section. This happens because it is usually inserted inside the next piece. That applies to the so-called overfit ferrules. At that point not only a weak spot forms just below the end of the solid tip, but also an interruption in the bending curve. That means that just below the tip section, where it joins the second part, the bend is greater than farther up. Of course, that is not ideal. You can clearly feel it when casting, and it changes the whole casting dynamics. At this point the material is weaker, because there is less of it than in the upper section, where the pressure comes from. This creates what we call a compression break. I say this quite openly, I've mentioned it in other videos before. I mainly deal with rod repairs, and breaks just below the upper ferrule are far from rare. Naturally, I started thinking about how to prevent such breaks, and at the same time stabilize the part that bends the most. To do that, I reinforced this section from the inside, using a solid conical insert depending on the line class. This piece is inserted from above into the ferrule section, and extends about 10 centimeters beyond the length of the overlapped tip section. It has two effects: it strengthens the area, and at the same time protects it against breaking. The glued-in insert, tapering downward, stiffens the rod, right where it should regain strength, naturally and evenly. This is the SoliFerrule, and it comes as standard in every Solitip rod. And since we're talking about ferrule joints, some of you may already know that even the oversleeves are at risk. Over time, the constant stress during casting can weaken those parts as well. That's exactly what the next chapter is about. There you'll see how to identify exposed sections, and reinforce them permanently.